Hi, my friends, just out here watering my garden. I just watched a video of my Meet Kevin. I like Meet Kevin guy, young guy. Seems like a lot of financial people on YouTube are young guys, which is fine. I got no qualm with that at all. Just it's interesting. But anyway, so he seemed to be stating that I don't know how to say this because it's going to sound like I'm bashing him. I'm not. He seemed to be implying that the decline in prices that we've seen in the latter part of April are due to the fear that came down the pike in March on real estate, and he seemed to again, this is just my take on it. The implication, it seemed to me, is that now that we're over the fear, the real estate prices shouldn't fall as much. And again, I'm putting words in his mouth. He didn't say that explicitly. But he did show you the price in April, and he did say the price in April is basically a lagging indicator of what happened from March, if that makes sense. See, and look, I could be easily wrong. I don't know. I'm not in real estate. I just know I own homes. I've been following this for a while, and I also know economics. It's just basically supply and demand. I hope I'm wrong, to be perfectly honest with you. But how can real estate prices stay where they were when 30 million people have no work? That doesn't make sense to me. Because everything which is why socialism never works. It deletes the pricing mechanism. The pricing mechanism on a product is always based on B, supply and demand. Always. The pricing for products are always based on supply and demand. That's all there is to it. I don't care what product it is. I don't care if it's, remember the old, what the hell were those things called? Cabbage Patch Kids? I guarantee you could probably, I don't know, actually I don't, I should say I guarantee. I imagine you could probably buy a Cabbage Patch Kid doll right now for nothing. But back in the day, when I was growing up, Cabbage Patch Kids dolls were the rage for like 1 or 2 Christmases. And only rich kids had them, because the demand was through the roof for some ungodly reason. The supply was level, demand was through the roof, thus the price went through the roof. Remember I literally don't know what they are, the prices for Cabbage Patch Kids dolls are now. Let's see, what would be a Ty Cobb baseball, or no, it's Honus Wagner, I think, is the first baseball card. Huge demand relative to supply. And when I say huge demand, there's not even that much demand. Most people, don't know anything about baseball cards, or who Honus Wagner is. Thus, the demand on that side would be minimal, but even though the demand is not that big, it doesn't matter because the supply is even lower, if that makes sense. The tri-card from Topps in 1979, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Dr. J, which I had, and I wrote on it. I imagine that demand is still quite high. I imagine it's actually probably fallen off quite a bit. It seems to me that the baseball card industry has actually fallen off. Maybe it's just because I don't follow it anymore, but I could absolutely be mistaken there. But be it as it may, that could be a pricing mechanism for that card has dropped way down since, 20 years ago, that sucker was going through a lot of money, man. Right? No. Come here, buddy. Hold on just a second. We got a barking dog. So, anyway, going back to supply and demand. Come on, let's go, bud. Yeah, good boy. Going back to supply and demand. Actually, it's kind of funny because the only time I ever sold anything on eBay, I had a Ken Griffey rookie card from Upper Deck. I sold that for, I think, $60 or something like that. This is back in 1999. Ken Griffey Jr., by the way. And I have no idea what the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards are going for anymore. But imagine that I probably got a good deal when all said and done. I don't know for sure. But Ken Griffey, I think he didn't have quite the career we're hoping for sure. But he was just a fantastic player. But the point is that when the demand falls off the cliff and the supply stays stable, or if the supply goes up, guess what happens to the pricing mechanism? Demand falls, supply stays stable, or price goes up. Demand falls, supply stays stable, or supply goes up. The prices drop. It's all there is to it. All there is to it. So if you have 30 million people without work, they're not looking for homes. They're not looking to upgrade. they're not. I mean, they might be looking to downgrade, which is why, if we remember in the latter part of the Great Recession, the smaller markets actually did okay, relatively speaking. It certainly came back. Oh, she closed that. She wasn't supposed to. She actually came back a whole lot quicker than the larger parts did of the real estate in terms of the more expensive homes, just because the demand was still through the roof. A lot of people were downsizing to get out of their houses they couldn't afford. Hard to imagine. Hard to imagine 30 million people out of work, and you're not going to see a collapse in prices, especially on the high-end properties. It's just hard to imagine. I mean, I could be wrong, but where's the demand come from? I guess you could say the professional class is the only class that still has jobs. I don't think that's true, though. I mean, maybe. But either way, 30 million people unemployed, those 30 million people certainly are not the big... The only thing I can see them doing is looking for rent. In terms of single-family homes, I don't see how the real estate market doesn't fall off a cliff. Maybe the rental properties, like Kevin's talking about multi-unit properties, I don't know, maybe. I don't see it. Be interesting to see, but I'll go on a limb and say I do believe the real estate market is going to drop significantly. I believe that people who have cash on the side will be able to buy some properties pretty on the cheap that they can use for rent, or they can use for second homes, or they can use to even upgrade potentially or downgrade, however they want to do it. But again, we shall see. This could get ugly. All right, we'll see you.